Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Felix here. It is the 31st of March. Where is the time going at the moment? It's pretty crazy right now. So I've just come in to drop in to do a energy update, a grid update, whatever kind of update this is going to be, because my God, has March been pretty crazy. So to touch base, obviously I've been away doing grid work this month. Um, over the equinox. And so much has kind of like shifted and pulled through. I feel I might potentially do another video on the grid work. Maybe it does get covered in my grid session that happened yesterday, which is now up on my website. Um, so potentially I might just leave that there and link it below. Um, because that was a very, very potent kind of grid session that we did in Ireland. And a big, big thank you to the Ireland Connecting Consciousness lot for making us feel so welcome and taking us to certain places. It was really lovely. It was so nice to connect with our friends across the pond. I've never actually been to Ireland before, and it was gorgeous. It was so nice. It was so peaceful. Um, yeah, I really, really enjoyed it there. And I'm looking forward to going back potentially in October or November. It depends on when I've got a bit of time. Um, so at the moment, everything's kind of like going so crazy um, with this speed up of change. So without further ado, I'll just kind of touch base into a couple of events that I'm doing this month coming in April. The first one will be on the 9th of April, which is the Easter Sunday. Um, Last year, Easter was so expansive and so um, transformational. I feel really called to do a session this year and just to really see which direction we're to move in. And another one I'm feeling potentially around the third or fourth week, I'll be doing a divine feminine field calibration. Um, After all of this masculine energetic that has been going through transformation, I'm feeling very called to look at the collective feminine at the moment. So that will be on the either the second or the third week, or the third, sorry, the fourth or the second week. I'm not entirely sure yet. I'm just going to see how it goes at the moment, and see where we're at because there's just so much going on. I haven't really had time to necessarily integrate all of this information, um, because there has been so much movement of light and so many new ventures opening up, particularly over this past week when I've come back from Ireland, which I'll get into in a minute. It's just been absolute carnage, uh, as I'm sure many people will kind of process and understand. So yeah, the other events that I've got on are going to be the first one will be on Monday, well, two on Monday, one at 6 p.m., then one at 7 p.m. And it is the Self Care Monday group field calibration that I do once a month. That's completely free. And then the one afterwards is the group grid discussion to kind of decide where we're going to look at towards the third week, which is when the actual grid session will be um, coming together. We do that online, and meet up, um, to develop our abilities, but also to heal the planet as primary. This is kind of what I'm really being called to do at the moment. That's why I'm going off into all these different places, left, right, and center. Just trying to kind of catch my mind with that as well. So yeah, those are the different events that I've got going on through April, and also on the 22nd and the 23rd, if you are in the UK, and you are in the North East area, I'm going to be in York at a health and healing fair over there. So yeah, that will be great fun. And it is one of the more busier ones as well. I've had a couple of people that I've pre-booked in already for it. So yeah, it's going to be a real great show. I'm looking forward to it. I love York as a city as well. It's just got something magical about it, and so much history held within the walls of the castle, and it's very desirable place to live, and quite an exciting but quaint kind of village location, city location to really dive into. So yeah. Anyway, right, let's dive into this update, the energy update at the moment. So the first thing coming back into the UK and going forwards, what I've found going through this gate system is many new range developments coming in to build. So these new range developments, essentially, as we've gone through the gate system in the past, what this is a case of breaking down and transferring through these through these spiritual gate systems, essentially like a transference of energy to then you move into this next level of juncture in time, let's say. And within that, what it also does at the same time is brings up so many new things that need to be kind of healed, structured, looked at, categorized, put into the right place. And when I say that, I mean talking about like alchemies, talking about codes, templates, whatever that comes up within this that need to be kind of addressed and aligned to the correct kind of part of your fields. So within this, what I've noticed so much is how much anger has been coming up. Now, we're going to kind of cross paths on a few different topics here as well at the same time. But what I've really noticed, obviously with this Pluto in Aquarius energy, this revolutionary energy, it's bringing up so much stuff that needs to be kind of either worked through or resolved, and then again put into the right kind of categories and function that way. But within this, within this, what I found is the development and processing of what's been going on in the earth that's really been coming around to the forefront. And when I sat down on Monday this week, I was in pain. I've literally felt like my fields were burnt. I couldn't move any energy through my body. It was really tough. And guaranteed, like obviously I've just gone through a very intense grid work session for the past week, which also does that kind of interaction with your body and with your fields. But it was also what I was noticing was the sheer resistance to feel, to process, to understand. And this is what I feel is coming up to the forefront for so many at the moment. It's this resistance to work through, resistance to integrate. But it's also a case of shifting out of one's old self and like I want to say like a petulant child doesn't want to change the patterns, doesn't want to look at anything other than what they already know. And this is what I'm feeling breaking down. I'm feeling it really break down so much in the collective. Um, we're seeing stuff on the BBC with the poke in the arm. There is uh, a whole lot of turmoil going on in American politics at the moment. Um, and the fact of the matter is, there are so many people that are recognizing this now, but still going through that inner struggle and turmoil with the interaction of the people around them. It's very interesting to see how um, these levels are playing out and how do they interact within your own field. Where is it that you're holding resistance and reluctance within yourself? Um, and also denial. Denial has been really quite core at the moment. That's popping up all over. And that denial is playing such a key role in the expression of truth. So where are we not aligning to our truth in ourselves? And how is that reflecting to you in your reality? Is it coming through a parental structure? Is it coming through old friends? Is it coming through um coming through like the political situations where it's just lie after lie after lie? And it gets to a point where you're thinking, okay, well, if all of this false truth or all of this lying kind of reality is coming forwards at the moment, how do we search for this within ourselves? Where are we attracting this into our um, field of awareness? And I think this is such a good question to kind of ask for us as we move forwards into this like new juncture of time. Um, how do we see ourselves moving forward deeper into truth? Because at the end of the day, where we're really looking at the moment when we are seeing ourselves and seeing our realities, how can we kind of translate this into our own being? Like, um, if we're not aligned to our truth, how are we going to birth this new earth? How are we going to birth the reality that is congruent and peaceful and flowing for ourselves if we aren't in our truth? And this extends into so many different degrees. And I've heard people before say, I absolutely am in my truth in so many ways, but then they'll smoke a cigarette or, have a line of Coke or, it just doesn't make sense to me. Um, this storyline of one expression, but then doing the opposite, because really it's the actions that lead it's the actions that lead us into our truth. When we are divinely aligned to that, we're going to follow through with it. And if we are saying one thing and doing another thing, then we're building a false reality, and that's kind of not where we want to be heading at the moment, particularly with all of these fluctuations, disinformation, and intentional hijacks to lead us into a false path, into a dark path. So where do we look to in ourselves to correct that. And I think that's so, so important, even down to like the way that we look at certain bits of information and how do we question it. One of the main feelings that I'm seeing, or one of the main things that I'm seeing with this Pluto in Aquarius, is that it is a reconstruction for how the mind works, a reconstruction for how we think, talk, and express ourselves that's more aligned to truth, what is actual for us and what is what needs to come forward. It feels as if like all this anger that's going on behind it, this revolution is like a big kick up of the dust cloud within. So we have to move forward in a direction that is from the heart rather than from the eyes, if that makes sense. I'm trying to kind of piece myself around that as well because I'm kind of receiving information in real time to understand where this is all going. So this truth alignment or realignment to truth is really taking a look at everything that isn't authentic or aligned for our highest good and just working to transform, dissolve, and collapse. This I feel is so, so important for April, and not just for April, it's a continuation, really, isn't it? So I kind of almost feel like with how the energy reports were going from last year, now it's kind of taking more of a stance of where we're at the moment and where we can move into with this and how it can progress. Which is interesting because this is all bringing about the evolutionary change at a much more rapid, accelerated state. To really bring us into our alignment with our true self. And it's within that, when we are congruent in our truth, everything begins to flow at such a smooth, delicate, gentle form where the frustration is able to release, the abilities or the needs to really fight go away. So it's an interesting one at the moment, especially with this most recent indictment that's come about. Well, this indictment situation feels like it's going to backfire massively. Even just kind of sat there now, there's resistance around it, but there's also flow with it. And it's because of that truth that's behind him. The truth always comes to light, is what I feel. Right, okay. So on top of all of that, this revolutionary energy is really coming to the forefront so much as well. And that again ties back in with Pluto. Um, and we can see with like the depictions of that first initial indictment kind of situation, all of these people going to the tower, Trump Tower, and standing in front of that, if that was just before any decisions were made, what's going to happen afterwards? We're literally on the cusp of this revolutionary phase, or we're actually within it. At this point, we've been in it for a while, but um, now it's really feeling like it's heating up. Like was it last month or the month before about this heating pot, the boiling pot or boiling point. Now it looks like the pot is boiling over, like and putting the flames out. Um, so it's interesting just to kind of reflect back and monitor into these different scenes and scenarios of how things are coming together and where it's moving to. So my real question would be, what do we expect over the next couple of months? Would this be the right time to start stocking up on finances again and keeping cash in the house? Stocking up on extra food? Yeah, I do. I think it really is. It feels like it's that kind of point, maybe not necessarily so safe to travel. Because we just don't know what is around the corner at the moment. It's definitely there, it's definitely brewing. And I think through April we're gonna see quite a lot of shift coming to the forefront. But what I do feel is when I've kind of felt into this, now I'm not saying there will be a trial or not, but when I felt into the energy of it, I feel like this could be dragged out for quite a long time as a means of buying time for the dark side to kind of learn how to work it to their own advantage. Um, yeah, it feels, I've been feeling that as soon as the information came in last night, um, how it was kind of gonna sit, but it feels like it's gonna be dragged out for as long as it possibly can to buy time. Um, but on the counter side to that as well, I feel like the patriots and the MAGA folk will be doing everything that they can in their power to kind of expose on so many different levels where it's not going to be missed. I really don't think it's going to be missed. And I also feel like with this summoning to court, it's a massive shot in the foot by them because of all the evidence that is coming forward. I mean, to be honest, this is kind of, we all know by now, but this is just some kind of things that have been coming in lately. But the contention and the fight from the negative side of that has been so strong. And when I've tuned in this morning, the energy was so high, um, with excitement, with vigor, and it felt like we're moving into that next level of completion. Not saying that it will be all done and dusted with this, because I feel it's going to extend for quite some time. Um, yeah, it feels like it's going to go on for quite a bit of time. Um, and there'll be a lot of kind of mirror points and false screens that will come up with this as well. Um, so yeah, very interesting. Right. Okay. So talking about this energetic of Ireland, and I'll just go into a slight bit of information and intel here. This the island of Inishmore, this was really interesting to me. Um the energy in Inishmore felt like it was having the life force drained out of it. Um it felt as though it had a sheet of, or it did quite literally have a sheet of poverty consciousness kind of enveloped through the grid, almost like a level of distraction. So this is going into Ireland, by the way. And we're looking at the Isles of Arran here. And it is within this instance, this information about this location, the it's been said that it was the soul shard of Atlantis, and that's definitely something that kind of came up within the grid sessions that we were working through. And also, there are points on this island that hold these kind of relics that are um, relevant to Atlantis as well, which I thought was really interesting, particularly through the seven churches. So this location, I saw this connecting with a wormhole system that's also connected as a right ventricle. So there's two parts, the left ventricle, the right ventricle, into a point in the Atlantic Ocean, where the energetics of this soul shard of Atlantis were being funneled and taken into some kind of mechanic within the mantle of the earth. Now, this is really, really interesting with me because we actually discovered this on the grid session last night as to how this kind of mechanic worked. It was also tied into Bermuda. Now, it brought my attention as soon as I stepped on the island physically and I looked at the map, I saw on the map that there were two parts to the island, to Inishmore. And the part that I was on was just one, essentially one lung. And the other side, which I actually feel now is Bermuda, where they'd separated and split. And this left side, the Bermuda side, runs a reversal stargate here, was also connected in through beast machinery, through the ventricle, through like a bronchial tube, if you will, and connected into this sea shelf that runs into the mantle, maybe like the midpoint of the mantle of the earth. And what I noticed within this was the levels and degrees of how this technology is, number one, filtered through Inishmore into Orion. That can, was it that place? I think it was Inishmore into Orion. I'll have to double check on the grid video that's on my website, because I can't remember. It was a whole 24 hours ago that we did this. So yeah, very, very interesting kind of situation there. I was sort of kind of like monitoring this and seeing where it was all connected into and how it was all coming together. This technology, it felt like it was powering up the anti-rod, anti-staff mechanic, the beast mechanics, or running through this point, which would essentially knock off the pole shift and then distorting the 12, 12, 13, 13 sacred rod, sacred stuff frequency through the planet of the Earth. This was a very strong point of that. The energy at Bermuda was a lot lighter as well, which I was quite surprised about, because as soon as you check into Inishmore, it's so dense there that it almost makes you feel ill, makes you feel not good, essentially. So that was very interesting to kind of come about and really work through. Another thing that I'm kind of just picking up as well as I'm going through this, I feel that a lot of people are really not knowing where they're at the moment as well. I feel like there's so much so many things going on that people feel in a state of kind of disarray. They're not kind of sure of themselves and not knowing where they're going. It's uncertainty. It's the energetic of uncertainty. And I feel as well with like everything that's going on, with all of this breakdown of truth and all the lies that are coming forwards and coming out, I'm not surprised, to be honest, because there is so much going on. How is one meant to kind of know where they're at when the world around them is reflecting an untruth? So really what this is the case of is going back into that stronger truth alignment. It's that push, it's that force to find the inner knowing, find that true connection to yourself, to your guides, and know who you are in the process. So it is quite a magical experience to be pushed through this. It's a deeper level of trust that's being built, and a deeper level of certainty once we overcome that uncertainty into that source alignment, into that that awareness. Yeah. And I think what comes with that, there's a lot of grief as well. Because within this, it's like letting go of a whole load of perceptions and belief systems that you thought were accurate at the time, but perhaps not so much now. And then what comes with that is all of these ego attachments, the egoic attachments, and kind of personalities that fit those belief systems also coming down and collapsing at the same time. It's a very, very strong time for transformation, death and rebirth, which actually makes a lot of sense because we're going into a rebirth resurrection gateway. That is only taken me, what, half an hour, 40 minutes to realize in this transmission as we're doing it. I've got a couple of notes, but I haven't got much today, purely because I didn't really know what I was meant to be talking about. I've got a lot of information and what I'm seeing within the collective, but none of it felt like it needed to be said. So I just felt like it had to come from the heart and come from guidance and work with it that way. And yeah, sometimes that can be uncomfortable. You don't always know where you're going, but it is within that that the uncertainty lifts. and you move into deeper levels of trust, which is quite a magical thing because you show yourself day in, day out that you can, that you will, and that you are able to every single time. And that's such a wonderful gift to give yourself. But how can you really harness that and then share that with others as well, which is the next step to help them believe and trust, reorder, restruct, reconstruct all of these degrees of the solar plexus, all of the degrees of the heart, the root, the sacral. Mm, magical. Okay. So, that being said, I am unsure if I'll do a proper video on Ireland just yet. Um, you can always go and watch the grid work video that's on my website and the grid work training program. And you can participate if you want to as well, hosting them for free. So you guys can train and develop your abilities, um, which I think is so important at the moment if we're going through these levels of evolution, transformation, death and rebirth, reconstruction of the mind. What comes with these reconstructions? What comes with these death and rebirth kind of things? You know, there's so much opportunity and so much potentiality we're in at the moment as we move through the 0 point. We are quite literally creating exactly what we want to build into our worlds, into our realities, into the future for the kids. And I guess you can't do that without exploration and truth. So then we revolve back to the start again, make it all the way around 360. And it feels within the processing of everything that's going on, it feels really good because in the knowing, it's always going to work out. It's going to work out for the best. It always does. A couple of growing pains along the way, but it always comes out on top. Okay. So on that note, we're going to do a short meditation and just run a slight field calibration to reconstruct and restore. And begin by just taking a deep breath in, releasing. And what I'm seeing coming in here is this really rich, shiny black sphere. Feels very healthy. Very strong and resilient. Moving down through the vertical pillar, connecting in through the crown of the head, blending through the body. White light casting off through the spectrums of the black, expanding, glistening through the many facets of light. and refracting through the body. Range tonation of indigo, magenta, violet, gold, and yellow. Harmonize through the vertical pillar. And wave formations open through the horizontal. Diamond fractalization, expansion building into the light fields. Sophianic flower of life. Regenesis code. In white, dragon bodies blend and merge. An emerald one and a violet one. Aya's rock. Urulu, connecting in. Aquamarine light tonescence, frequency base, 13th dimensional mother arcing system blending through the body. Yellow wave formations aligning through the vertical pillar, expanding through the geometric spectrums, updating through the lotus intercepts. Surrendering to the feelings. Surrendering to discomfort through the heart, through the chest, through the crown. Spiralization, updating through the scalar wave, divine feminine fields expand and open. Bringing brown, grey to black pollution through to clear. Let's breathe into that feminine body. the left side, and just allow all this heaviness to move through, feeling it drain from the meridians, drain from the cells, drain from the tissues, moving through the bioenergetic fields and through the bioorganism. Resistance, reluctance, and fear with a pinch of anger. Golden sun, alchemy, golden geometries, crystalline cogs and gears, align into place. Being spun by light and dissolving any mechanical attributes into pure, organic, presentations. The crystalline cogs turn to flowers. Opening in pure abundance, receptive and welcoming of the life force. And just feeling a lot of movement through the brain tissues here as well, through the mind fields. Where I'm seeing in the mental field these architectural structures, these buildings, these architectures that were collapsed and grey, restoring into light and resurrecting, opening pathways for new thought form, new mental processes and progressions, releasing out stagnation, releasing out chaotic, devastating mindsets and beliefs, and the grey rooting infrastructure that's connected through that as well. Calibration of the mental field, and I'm seeing water run through between the buildings and into the very fabric of the land where flowers begin to grow and flourish. Releasing the rings of Saturn, releasing binding, and releasing limitation to the thought processes. Oh, goodness. Diamond symbolic, diamond templating, restoring through the mind. As the water washes away the dirt, diamonds are found within the land and begin to harness and connect, building into the diamondic structures. And I'm seeing this almost as like crystal diamond paneling, sitting and setting into the dimensional spheres. With water rising up through the feminine. And purifying the feminine body, the feminine field. I'm seeing a lot of sapphire coming in here. The expression of the feminine. Being able to rise. Sapphire and white tones blend through the spheres. Radial arc light synthesis. Vesica Pisces to Triquetra. Pain, grief, and remorse release over the heart. Suppression and suffering. Expansion into the tri-union. The trifurcation. Yakoras maatia. Nes yirish mesianya. Eyetiris yatorish mosmo ukiopora. And feeling that hardness, that abruptness, that rigidness of the masculine disintegrating, dissolving, and breaking down as the feminine's moving forwards. Reconstructing the masculine reconstructs at the same time to complement the field shift. release of anxiety, release of fear, spirals of white and emerald extend through the heart space, accelerating spins of release. Golden scalar waves expand up through the vertical. Solaris behind, connecting through plasma solar light fields. Immerse through the geometric configuration, updating through divine union. We're going to seal forward through all levels or layers of light. We're going to seal forward through all bodies, sealing forward through all fields, updating through all fields and all localized grids, and sealing forward now through the breath of the divine union. Thank you ever so much, everybody. I will look forward to seeing you this month. I'm going to be on Indy's channel on the 6th, Indigo Angels channel, doing a live remote view. So come see me over there. I'll look forward to having you. I'll link it on the channel closer to the day. So have a wonderful, wonderful month ahead. Stay in love, stay in your grace, and know that everything is working its way out the way it's meant to be worked out. Have a lovely week, month, even. See you later, guys. Bye.